Police say they've arrested a man in the fatal shooting of Auburn football player Jaquel Mitchell. We have team coverage coming up. And authorities in West Alabama say 2 of 3 inmates who escaped from a county jail have been rearrested.
And we're focused on this storm. We need the rain, right? But we're not going to see storms. And I'm going to explain why and show you when this storm system will be right upon us, bringing us some of those showers. News 3 Evening Edition starts right now.
Covering Western Georgia and East Alabama, this is News 3 Evening Edition.
Good evening, I'm Sarah Panko. In our top story tonight, Auburn police have made an arrest in the shooting death of Auburn football player Jaquel Mitchell. 22-year-old Markale Hart is now in police custody for the murder of the 18-year-old. Auburn police say they picked up Hart in Tallapoosa County, where he's from. He's being held on a $150,000 bond. News 3's Naomi Kitt is live at the Tiger Lodge apartment complex where the shooting took place. She joins us now with the latest. Naomi?
Sarah, just before 2 p.m. Central Time, police confirmed 22-year-old Markale Hart was taken into custody and charged with the murder of 18-year-old Jaquel Mitchell. Now, Auburn police have had a pretty busy day. It started around 12:25 this morning when they received a shots fired call right here at the Tiger Lodge apartment in Auburn. I spoke to one resident who heard those deadly shots early this morning.
It was a really scary night.
Vikas Yadav tells me he was woken up just after midnight by a commotion that was going on outside his window.
People are like yelling and screaming and running. So I was like, what's going on? And then I heard the sound, bam, 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 bam.
The Tiger Lodge resident says he heard 8 to 10 gunshots and saw nearly 40 people outside.
And that was like a chaos everywhere. Everybody's running. People are getting into the car and they're going away.
Police arrived on scene just before 12:30 Sunday morning. When they got to the apartment complex, 18-year-old Jaquel Mitchell was in the passenger seat of a car, suffering from gunshot wounds to the chest.
We had one victim reported that was transferred to the East Alabama Medical Center where he succumbed to his wounds.
Hours later, there were more than 40 police markings at the complex and a number of bullet holes in cars and on the side of apartment buildings. Police arrested 22-year-old Markale Hart for Mitchell's murder. The deadly shooting has left many residents questioning their safety. One woman I spoke with said she was the victim of an armed robbery just days before, and after the latest crime, was looking for somewhere else to live.
There's always something going on here, and we lost an Auburn football player, and here we lost another one.
Because I'm going to stay whole vacation here alone, and my roommate are going home on the Christmas break, and now I'm really worried about my safety.
In a Facebook post, the apartment complex said, "Your well-being is of utmost importance to us. A courtesy officer lives on site and is available to you 24/7. We also have a security officer on site." Markale Hart was taken to the Lee County Jail where he's being held on a $150,000 bond. And I spoke to a captain over at the Auburn Police Division who tells me Hart was the only suspect and they don't plan on making any other arrests. Reporting live in Auburn, Naomi Kitt, WRBL News 3 on your side.
Thanks, Naomi, for that live report. Sports Director Jonathan Husky here now. And Jonathan, we're very familiar with Jaquel Mitchell after his high school career.
Yeah, he was really kind of the first big-time star that I remember covering in my time here. News 3 Sports' Dane Young is live in Auburn and has the story of a young man who is ready to make an impact. Dane?
Jonathan, this is a tragedy that's really shaken pretty much all of Lee County. Opelika, obviously, where Jaquel Mitchell was a star for the Opelika Bulldogs just a couple seasons ago, helped lead them to the 2012 state championship in Jordan-Hare Stadium at Auburn. It makes a lot of sense that he would come play at Auburn where his beloved Tigers are. He never wavered on that commitment to the Tigers. He knew the entire time that he wanted to be a part of that family, that this was something that was special to him, that football was special to him, and that his team was special to him. And that's something that he was made apparent early on in his career, and especially his senior season at Opelika when he had an ACL injury. This is what he told me that summer.
I've seen many other people come back from an ACL injury. The most devastating part of it was that I couldn't play my senior year of high school. That was just the most devastating part. College, I think I could recover by then and be ready to go for college.
I did see on Twitter where Opelika High School students, some of them are asking their fellow students to wear Auburn University shirts and gear to class tomorrow and to their first basketball game tomorrow night. It will be the first game that the Bulldogs will have, the first sporting event that Opelika High School will have had since this tragedy happened late last night and early into this morning. Reporting live from Auburn, Dane Young, News 3 Sports, on your side.
All right, thank you, Dane. Both Gus Malzahn and Jay Jacobs have issued statements, Sarah, and we'll have a look at those and a little bit deeper look on Jaquel's journey from Bulldog Stadium to Jordan-Hare Stadium later on sports.
All right, thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Dane. The fatal shooting is not the first for the Auburn apartment complex, now under the name of Tiger Lodge. In June of 2012, 6 people were shot during a weekend pool party at the apartment complex, then called University Heights. 3 men were killed, including 20-year-old Ed Christian and 20-year-old Ladarius Phillips, both former Auburn University football players. Desmonte Leonard was convicted of capital murder in those shooting deaths. Leonard's sentencing was set for January 7th, but on Friday, Judge Jacob Walker postponed the sentence to Tuesday, January 20th. The jury recommended life without parole for Leonard, but a Lee County judge could still sentence him to death. For the latest on all of our top stories, you can head to our website at WRBL.com. To the weather now, where it turned out to be a beautiful weekend. Will it last for your work week ahead? Chief Meteorologist Bob Jeswald is in for First Alert Meteorologist David Reese tonight. Bob.
That's right. It won't last completely, but there's something we need out of this. We need some rain, obviously. The air has been a little bit stable, and we have been seeing nothing but sunshine ahead of it. But notice some strong storms tonight. Only a couple severe storms and under a severe thunderstorm watch southeast portions of Oklahoma, and even a tornado warning right now and a severe thunderstorm warning to south Oklahoma City. Take a look at this. This is around the Lincoln and Logan County areas, but if you're looking right here on Interstate 44, they're seeing some good rumbles of thunder, some little rotation with this, but there's been nothing that has been really actually confirmed. And in fact, this whole area here could certainly see some strong storms tonight. We're talking damaging winds mainly, but occasionally in this particular case, we actually had a tornado warning. I mean, more severe thunderstorm warnings right through Fort Smith, Arkansas. And then you can see as it moves off to the east, that slight risk for strong storms still exists farther off to the west. We're still in the clear. I'll tell you for how long and what kind of rain we could certainly use here coming up. Take a look at the latest conditions. 57 degrees from the Eagle Phoenix camera off the 13th Street Bridge looking towards Phoenix City. 7-day forecast straight ahead, Sarah.
All right. Thank you, Bob. Authorities in West Alabama say 2 of the 3 inmates who escaped from jail have been caught. The 3 escaped early Saturday after deputies say one of them screamed his cellmate was very sick to get a guard's attention. The 3 inmates were all in one cell together. When the guard unlocked the cell, the inmates jumped him, took his keys, and ran off. 23-year-old DeMarcus Woodard, who's charged with capital murder, remains at large. We now know the name of a pilot who was killed after the plane he was flying hit a house on St. Simon's Island. Coastal Georgia authorities say 68-year-old James Wood of Brunswick died yesterday afternoon. Authorities say no one was inside the house at the time of the crash. The house the plane hit is right next to the St. Simon's Island airport. The NTSB and the FAA are investigating. Still to come, a massive cyber attack on Sony Pictures Entertainment. The screenplay for the new Bond movie has been stolen.
Now, News 3 brings you your First Alert forecast.
Thanks for staying with us. Chief Meteorologist Bob Jeswald in for Meteorologist David Reese tonight, who's just enjoying the night off. And these averages are becoming a little lower over the last couple of days as we get closer to the winter solstice. And we take a look at temperatures. They're going to take a little dive here coming up in the First Alert forecast, but it'll be mild at first coming up, and then eventually you're going to see those temperatures just continue to drive off into the below average range, which averages what, about 59. So there you have it. 62 is our high today, and a low of 32 this morning. Was freezing. It did pop up quickly though, and it was just a little cooler today. We had more of those northeast winds and northwest winds. And as we track ahead, Monday afternoon, Monday morning, here we go. We're going to be watching occasional high thin cloud. Generally mostly sunny though coming up Monday mid-morning. Now we're watching the west here. We hit some strong storms tonight. How many of those will hold up? Could still be some strong storms in northern Mississippi and western Tennessee. They'll be isolated, but by the time it comes here, we're going to see it break up a bit. But we're still going to be watching Tuesday in the overnight, which will be in the morning. As you can see, 3:30, passing showers here rather scattered ahead of this cool front that's coming through. Before you know it, we begin to clear out. So temperatures temperatures are going to be pretty nice and cool behind that. And we will get some rain out of this. We could certainly use some, and this will be measurable a bit. So as we take a look here, you'll see anything from maybe 1/10 of an inch to maybe close to a little bit of a 1/4 of an inch, maybe in some spots a little bit farther south. So coming up in your first alert forecast, then temperatures on your Monday in the mid-60s and come down about 58, more average here by Tuesday and into Wednesday. We'll see the temperatures slowly come back up. So right now we're looking at 57 degrees out there, and winds are from the north and light. Tomorrow there'll be a little shift in the winds, so it'll become more southwesterly. So we'll see just some temperatures moderating a little bit, and that's ahead of that storm system that we're showing you just off to the west. And you can see other readings around up to 40s here. It's a little chillier in Opelika right now to about 54 in America. So a little variance in readings, as you can see. Okay, so we're seeing that north wind kind of relaxing a little bit. The winds will be light and calm. We'll get down back into 30s again, so a cool start coming up on your Monday morning. Where readings are going to warm up in the afternoon with some clouds increasing about 67 degrees. So it'll be a little warmer. So in your first alert 3-day forecast, then expect to see a few showers in the morning and then breezy coming up Tuesday afternoon when those showers do come through at the front. And then readings back in the upper 50s there with some sunshine again. And then another storm system we're tracking, this time again for Saturday morning coming up. This one may linger a little longer, similar in fashion where we've been seeing them a little stronger farther west, but by the time they come eastward, they seem to weaken a bit. So we can certainly use some rain this week, and temperatures are going to remain more or less close to average for this time of year.
But I'm glad it stayed clear for our weekend.
You're not kidding. We've been really fortunate for that, haven't we?
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Bob.
Okay.
The world's most famous spy is the victim of a cyber attack. As Wendy Gillette reports, Sony Pictures announced hackers have stolen an early version of the James Bond movie script, Spectre.
The title of the latest James Bond film, Spectre, was announced just this month at a red carpet event in London.
We've spent 2 years getting this together, and there's been so much hard work and effort.
Sony officials say an early version of the Spectre screenplay is one of the thousands of documents hackers stole in the latest massive cyber attack against an American company.
This is not a problem related to any particular company. This is a global problem.
This is just the latest problem for Sony after hackers invaded computers at its entertainment arm November 24th, then leaked sensitive and embarrassing information, including executives disparaging personal emails about Sony actors and others, including President Obama.
Sony's in big trouble. To me, this is Hollywood's Edward Snowden moment. And what's a problem with that is we don't know what's coming next.
The production company, Eon Productions, is worried anyone who has the screenplay may try to publish it. Eon warns the script is protected by copyright laws and says it will take all necessary steps to keep it under wraps.
Skyfall. Done.
The James Bond franchise is one of Sony's most lucrative. The most recent movie, Skyfall, raked in the most of any Bond film ever, $1.1 billion worldwide. Sony says production continues on Spectre and other films despite the leak. The movie is set for release November 6, 2015. Wendy Gillette for CBS News.
There is speculation that North Korea is behind the cyber attack in retaliation for the upcoming comedy The Interview. The film depicts an assassination attempt on North Korea's leader. North Korea denies it had anything to do with the hacking, but said it praises the action. Coming up, we'll go back out live to Auburn. We take a look at Jaquel Mitchell's journey from Bulldog Stadium in Opelika to Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn. In 3 on your.
We will hear and are already hearing plenty about Jaquel Mitchell's impact at Opelika High and at Auburn University. News 3's Dane Young is live at Auburn. Dane, we covered Jaquel's Opelika teams extensively. What stood out about him to you?
Jonathan, it was a couple things. It was his beaming smile, his infectious personality, his energy. It all kind of wrapped up into one to make a great player, a great man in Jaquel Mitchell. And yeah, I did have the luxury of following that team in 2012 as they made that improbable run to the state championship, almost won that game as well. And really what stood out to me was you're going to hear a lot of stories from a lot of people about Jaquel Mitchell, his teammates, his friends, his family, of course. But to me, the best way to learn about Jaquel Mitchell is to hear him in his own words. Jaquel Mitchell's ability on the football field was unquestioned. He was a leader who helped Opelika High School become a power in the state of Alabama. But it was his selflessness that made him such a good teammate. He displayed that the summer before his senior season when he tore his ACL.
The first thing that went through my mind were my teammates. I was just thinking about what I couldn't do to help them anymore, and that was it hurt me the most. just not being able to help my teammates anymore.
His team mentality actually complemented his personal confidence. He tried to rehab from his knee injury to make it back for the state playoffs.
I want to be a part of that, and I don't want to feel like I let them down if I don't at least try. So that's what I'm going to do.
He was very close to making it back on the field. He even suited up in full pads and represented the Bulldogs as a captain in the playoffs. He knew that he was part of a special family.
This is the best team in the state, that we're ready for whoever else is out here.
When Opelika's season came to an end, Mitchell signed on with his beloved Auburn Tigers, and by fall practice, he'd already made a huge impression on his coaches.
Jaquel Mitchell athletically is exactly what we thought. He needs to put on some weight to be an every down player at the spot we play him at in our league, but he's even more athletic than I thought he'd be. And coming off of an injury where he didn't play for a year, that's been a really pleasant surprise.
When adversity hit, Jaquel Mitchell didn't focus on himself. He knew he was part of something bigger, something stronger. His words to his teammates at Opelika after his injury are very similar to what he would tell his Auburn family now.
One person doesn't make a team, and that somebody on this team has to step up and be the leader that I was playing when I was playing. But now that I'm not playing anymore, somebody has to take on that role.
I saw a tweet earlier that captures, I think, what the Auburn family is having to deal with and where their mindset and hearts are right now. Hearts that have definitely been battered by tragedy over the recent years. But that tweet said that Auburn in heaven, there are two great Auburn tight ends, Philip Lutzenkirchen and now Jaquel Mitchell. And you know, Lutz is taking care of Jaquel. Live in Auburn, Dane Young, News 3 Sports, on your side.
All right, thank you very much, Dane. Gus Malzahn has issued the following statement, quote, "I'm devastated and saddened by the passing of Jaquel Mitchell. My thoughts and prayers are with Jaquel's family and friends who are suffering through this senseless tragedy. I know the Auburn family is hurting, especially our players and coaches, and we're going to love and support them through this difficult time. We have lost a member of our family too young, too soon," end quote. Auburn Athletics Director Jay Jacobs, quote, "Our thoughts and prayers go out to Jaquel Mitchell's family and those who have been impacted by this terrible tragedy. This is a very trying time for those close to Jaquel, including the student athletes, coaches, staff, and Auburn family. We will provide counseling and support and do everything we can to help them through the grieving process," end quote. We'll be right back.
Time for News 3 Sports.
Welcome back to 3 on Your Side Sports. With great difficulty, we now turn to the games on the field today, though they seem to carry less import. The Falcons needed a win today to keep their tenuous hold on a share of the top spot in the NFC South. They face the Steelers at the Dome without Julio Jones, sitting this one out. Second quarter, Birds down 6. Matt Ryan, trouble. He's wearing the wrong jersey. William Gay takes the pick back with some help. Eventually, 52 yards to the house, touchdown, and Pittsburgh leads 13-0. But late in the second quarter, Ryan capitalizes to Devin Hester. That is a 17-yard touchdown. The Falcons right back in it at 13-7, but that is as close as they would get. Falcons fall 27-20 with Carolina's win. Atlanta now in third in the South. Huge game with New Orleans next week. The Auburn Hoops team now has dropped 3 straight. They fall 72-61 to Clemson tonight on the road. Simeon Bowers led the Tigers with 17 points and 14 rebounds. For the Georgia Bulldogs, expectations for 2015 just got a little bit higher. Other than Todd Gurley, all Georgia underclassmen are set to return to school. Mark Richt made the announcement at the football team's annual gala last night. Leonard Floyd, Malcolm Mitchell, and John Theus will all come back, with Harris County's Jordan Jenkins, quote, most likely returning for his senior year. The deadline to declare for the 2015 draft is January 15th. Again, it's a tough day to talk about things like that. True. With what we've witnessed and seen happen over there in Auburn. Of course, all the thoughts and prayers with Jaquel Mitchell's family and the Auburn family and everyone affected by this.
All right, thank you, Jonathan. Well, Bob, let's wrap it up with a last look at weather.
Okay, well, you can see that temperatures obviously are going to go up a little bit because we have a front coming through, and we're going to get some rain coming up by Tuesday morning. And it looks like we'll have some brief measurable rainfall. Those strong storms are what we're tracking right now, because those storms are going to weaken by the time they come here Tuesday morning. Clearly, it'll be a little bit cooler behind the system, and the coldest here will really be upon us by midweek, and then readings are going to kind of moderate there for the rest of the week, almost average by that point, and you can see what average is this time of year in the upper 50s. So this is typical December weather. In the overnight, after we were down to 32 this morning, we'll be down in the low to upper 30s in some areas around. There'll be a little variance. Tomorrow in the upper 60s, mid to upper 60s. Thanks to the approaching front, winds will be more southwesterly. So you'll see a change definitely in temperature, Sarah.
All right, thanks, Bob. And again, the big story today from Auburn, where police have made an arrest in the fatal shooting of Auburn football player Jaquel Mitchell. Any developments we have will be coming up on the Night Watch at 11:10 Central. Jonathan's monitoring it. Dane will be, Naomi, everybody. So thank you again for joining us. Have a good night.